Front meaning about group and organization. Back then we had the BYO and stuff like that, which is the Better Youth Organization. We wanted to keep everybody together, and that was our whole purpose, and it still is today.
When we first got into hardcore, even before we thought of making a band, it was just an outlet. It was a place to go every weekend where you could go and you could go nuts. You know, you get on that dance floor and no matter what happened to you during that week, you got it out.
If I wasn't at the hardcore right now, I don't know, I'd probably be like a truck driver or something.
No more questions! Here's your answer from New York City! Sick of it all! Yo, New York, you remember what time it is? It's America!
New York hardcore? What is New York hardcore? What is New York hardcore? Me?
I grew up around Guidos and kids like that and Cousins and
shit, I was the only
and
white
heavy
kid
metal
in my
kids.
neighborhood.
And I was totally always getting beat up and always thrown around, and I was rejected from that whole little society there. They couldn't accept me for what I was.
So we
and
built our own.
I found a clique of people that I got along with. We were people that, you know, that strived for different things. And the kids that I was growing up with that were abusing me and beating me up now work at like offices or in supermarkets, and
or they're all Murphy's Law fans.
Back in 1982, 83, it was, like I said before, like a family. It was a lifestyle. So everybody's together. We were pretty much it was a very poor way of living. We all lived in one apartment on 188 Norfolk Street down here in Lower East Side. It was about 10 of us. And our ways of eating or anything like that was we used to actually, you know, man on the street, you know, ask for change and stuff like that. And we worked together. We'd all bring back money and we'd eat. It was a very poor lifestyle. And we lived together. We learned how to live as people together instead of like individually breaking up and like being like, you know, selfish stuff. We kind of learned like sort of like a commune, you know, so like you could say like a hippie commune, but it was nothing like a hippie commune. But what I'm trying to say is it was more of a harder commune, you know.
We're gonna be doing a lot of stuff on my first album, an album called Victim in Pain. This song here is called Victim in Pain.
I got into hardcore when I was like 17. What happened was I was into metal for a long time, and I was into AC/DC and all that other stuff, and I loved it, you know, all through high school. And after a while, the lyrics started getting to me. I was starting to get into like the heavier stuff like Slayer, and I really didn't give a shit about Satan. I couldn't care less. It didn't apply to me.
Hardcore raises the issues, proposes the solutions. It takes it that step further, and it also has always dealt with things on a much more personal level that we can all do something about. And I knew when I started putting on shows, when I did the record label, I was not out to change the world. I knew I wasn't going to change the world, but I could always change, and I think I did change my part of that world.
I had to be like 13, 14 years old, and was sick of the scene in Queens,
In Queens,
the story of Queens,
as if
which
there
was
is
kids
one.
with Jim Morrison's likeness painted on the backs of their jackets, and Jimi Hendrix, and I just wasn't into all these dead people, you know. I wanted to see music, and like kids were going to concerts, and they were like,
It's like,
And
you can't have
you can't
fun
get
in an
involved.
arena,
And
you know what I'm saying?
The thing that made the whole punk rock hardcore thing really special is that you could relate to the people in the band, you know? I missed the whole era of big rock arena bands. You know, I started going to gigs, like punk gigs, when I was really young, so I was always on a level where the band and you were like one. It was like you were out there, you were sweating, they were up there going at it, and And the whole, you know, the whole stage dive and the whole thing, you know, I mean, it was like you were one with the band. It wasn't like they were some kind of idols and you were down here like, oh.
Well, it only happened if the band was killer.
I think I got attracted to hardcore just because, I guess as everybody does at a point, you just get sick of your parents, you get sick of school, you don't want to go to work, you just want to kind of screw around and hang out, and you're pissed off, and then Victim in Pain comes out, and you just, you know, you rip that open at your friend's house one night, and it just kind of, you know, pushes you over the edge. At that point, I just, like, when the band started, I had no, you know, I wasn't even thinking about singing for a band. I just got thrown into it just because I got asked to. And I was just like, sure, why not? You know, I had nothing else to do.
Competition has its way of bringing you down, bringing you down. All things number one, I'm your coming, funk, leave a trip, get in the way of the goals we spent. Now you ain't split. We want to watch you alone, or make the way. Memories of better days, holding on to, place up to. Competition has its way of making a man get you glad. Okay! Get it, Wally! Yeah!
Our music is written total crowd participation.
Yeah,
You know,
you
'cause that's how we grew up. Listening to early hardcore was total crowd participation. You know, pile on, sing along, all that stuff. That's your outlet. I mean, it kind of dulls the energy when you have a 6-foot barricade from the stage to the audience.
All right, there's like 4 or 5 different generic types of slam dancing. Now, because I've been around for so long, I remember where those types stemmed from. There was like Jimmy Gestapo used to have a certain style that now is mimicked by thousands of people. John Watson used to have a specific style that is now mimicked by thousands of people. I had a style, me and John Bloodclot used to have our own style. Paul Dordal had his own little thing. We each had little characteristics about our style of slam dancing. It was almost funny. It was like you'd look into the crowd and you'd identify everybody you know jumping around doing their little freaky thing. And now you got all these people doing their, I mean, I can see, but there's the Jimmy Gestapo, there's the, you know, and he's doing the funky chicken, and he's doing, well, sure, there used to be fights on the dance floor, but that used to happen when people who weren't down with the scene would come out and think that it was about hitting each other. You know, you get a lot of people who had never been around who thought that they were tough guys and had to be down with the in thing, so they'd get out there and be like, you know, and eventually get the shit beat out of them because they'd hit the wrong person, you know.
You let out all your frustrations. If you were fucking happy, you got on a dance floor and you danced like a nut. It was the best. It's the best thing.
You go to a Chili Peppers gig now and you see this circular, you know, pit thing. You know, like, from what I remember, this guy Watson, you know, everybody would be doing their thing, and it was this one dude, Watson, who was running around around everybody else, and then one day somebody followed him. The next thing you know, there was 4 people following him. And then the next thing you know,
years later,
and now it's the Chili Peppers.
And he don't even go to hardcore shows anymore.
It is a boys club thing now. It's like these half-naked, bald, sweaty guys, which girls, I'm sure, would love. You girls love to watch half-naked, bald, sweaty guys go grind on each other. But in the reality, when there was pogoing and the stimulators and skanking, we did it all together. Girls were there. I love to dance with girls. you know, I love girls are cool, and it's a cool thing.
Actually, I never did get hurt in hardcore. I mean, believe it or not, never taking pictures. I did get hurt once, though. I was shooting the Cycle Sluts from Hell, not even a hardcore band, at the Ritz. And, I mean, I just didn't expect anyone to be dancing around, so I wasn't, you know, had all my eyes open everywhere, and I got kicked in the back of the head, and I had to get the stitches right here. But, I don't know, hardcore's not dangerous compared to everything else, so I don't know.
To all you straight edge kids, dedicated to Steve Martin.
Well, the crossover was the most important thing that ever happened to hardcore, whether people want to believe it or not. Just when it was starting to get a little bit boring because everybody was playing the same 3 chords back and forth and every other way, we broke into that, you know. And at the same time, it was people, the metal kids were breaking into hardcore, and I saw them breaking in and liking what we play, so I wanted to try what they're playing, and I got a kind of like a good cross between both of them, and I liked it. I enjoyed watching bands like Carnivore. I enjoyed watching Whiplash, and, you know, later on Slayer, Metallica, you know, like the real big ones.
There's a riff on the first Metallica album that sounds just like a Bad Brains riff. I remember going, damn, this just sounds like a bunch of long-haired dudes trying to play hardcore. It's really
That's
stiff.
exactly what I said.
It didn't have, like I said, you know, like we were like
But I gotta
really
admit,
into the
though,
groove thing.
They are
Metallica.
one of my favorite bands
Yeah,
now, though.
well,
I
yeah.
mean, initially I felt like, you know, kind of like, what the fuck, you know, those people got long hair, so they get picked up by the industry faster than us or something, because they're, but that was just, you know, whatever. After a while, I did start to groove on, I mean, you know, I used to hate Slayer. I like Slayer now.
The thing you gotta understand is most of these bands, I mean, some of them might believe in their lyrics and all that, but most of these bands just write that for shock value to go along with the power of the music, the brutality of the music. The lyrics are brutal like that just to paint a picture, you know, to give you that full range, that total viciousness.
When you think about stuff that's like fantasy, if people are into that, fine, but if they're not into it, it's meaningless. Whereas if you're singing realistic lyrics, it's an inescapable fact you're singing about and has a lot more impact and makes the whole package of the music and the lyrics more, I don't know, impact-like.
Dramatic?
Yeah.
That's also a lot more satisfying to do. I mean, I'd rather be doing what we're doing and sing, you know, writing lyrics and singing about what we do than saying, oh, yes, I am a Viking, I sail the stormy seas.
Yeah,
all
I
that
brand
nonsense.
upside down crosses in my forehead.
Or Satan.
Maybe those like 5,000 kids who were at a slave show chanting "kill, kill." Maybe they need a little kick in the ass and realize that, you know, singing about raping corpses, you know, taking nothing away from Slayer. They are one brutal band, but singing about raping corpses and all that, yeah, how far is that going to get you in life? You know, I'm not saying that our lyrics are like the most inspiring, this and that. It's just what we go through every day. I mean, come to a hardcore show and see some reality for once in your lives.
If you fucking let people take over the scene with their stupid, mindless violence, you ain't got no more small shows, you got barricades, you got high door prices, and that's what happens if you don't watch out what's going on.
Let me give you the rundown of the band. It's like the rehearsal studio gets paid, the recording studio gets paid, the record label gets paid, everyone that works around the lawyer gets paid,
the manager gets paid,
the clubs get paid, everybody gets paid first, and then the band. And
so
a
by
lot
the
of
time
times
we get paid, we're lucky if we can afford breakfast.
A lot of times the band's so dizzy and confused about everything else that's going on that they don't wind up getting paid.
So that's why you gotta play because you want to, and because you, as a person, you have to like feel whole. I mean, if I stopped playing music, I'd fizzle away and die somewhere like a bum, you know?
Turn into a ball of gel.
I'd turn into a pumpkin or something fucked up.
Personally, I think it's good that the music industry really doesn't pay attention to hardcore because, like you said, we work in the music industry in a mailroom, and all we see is just not even industry. It's bought and sold. Everything is bought and sold. Everything's paid for. Charts, they're all paid for, and
to get on MTV.
And people just kiss ass. And it's, to me, that's why I don't think hardcore should have anything to do with that, because it's like such a, you know, street level honesty or whatever you want to call it. I'm glad the music industry doesn't pay attention to hardcore. Who needs it?
I mean, when we pull up to the gas station in our van, they don't say hardcore band with a statement, here, free gas. You know, when we go to rehearse, they don't say rehearse for free. You have something to say. You know, we have to pay for all this shit. Like I was saying about bands. I mean, it's the same thing with recording. I mean, the studios don't let us record free. We have to pay to record. We have to pay to rent a van. We have to pay to drive across the country. We have to pay to eat. You know, we have to pay for our T-shirts. We have to pay. We have to lay money out for all this shit. And all the times that Murphy's Law had to do this, we had to do this off of jobs that we've carried. I'm still, you know, I work 2 jobs still, and plus try to go to school and get my shit together, and it's fucking hard. And that's just to travel across the country. And when we leave for tour, we all quit our jobs, we all quit our lives, move out of our fucking apartments just to play to you little punk bastards. And that, you bastards should appreciate this shit.
Prick.
I'm serious, man. You guys should appreciate what we do.
See, I mean,
and it's like we don't make money off of this. We get by.
If you're a metal band, you get respect. You get bigger guarantees. They just treat you with more respect. Like small hardcore bands like us, they don't even care, you know. It's like they'll still charge $15 each kid at the door, but we'll only get like $500 to play, and the place will be packed. And then some nights when the metal band plays, you know, it'll be $15 to get in. The metal band's getting $5,000, and there'll be 15 kids inside, you know. And they always give like the metal bands just because it says metal. They give them more respect. I mean, it's a hard job. I mean, did you ever sit down and have to write an album? Did you ever go on tour? You know, things like that. It's really hard. But it's something we love to do. So at least we have a job that we like to do. Because if I didn't have this, I'd be sitting behind a desk doing some shit job with some stupid fucking suit on, which I would, you know, would hate. You know? This is what I love to do.
Well, I'm not going to get into the record company names and stuff, but it is kind of sad that the music starts at ground level, and when it gets up to top level, it seems like everybody is sucking the blood, you know, right out of you. It's like everybody in the industry is like a vampire, and they kind of forget that it's for the kids, it's by the kids.
But you're forgetting that the industry is an industry, and an industry must be industrious, such as, you know, our capitalist government must have capital. It's all about money, and see, what we're not about the money aspect of it. We're about the music aspect of it, and we like
survival is necessary.
What sucks is that we like to make music, and now all of a sudden this music is making money,
and we're not seeing it.
And
we're pissed.
We don't know anything about business, and we don't know anything about the music industry. We know about making music and making kids happy, and making kids go off and getting that reaction off of them. And
it's like, I know when I walk off a stage, you know, I feel good, man. You know. Like, I feel like, you know, it feels great, you know.
When I walk up stage, it's not like I feel good. I can't even talk.
I mean, you can't describe it. It's like a feeling that you can't really describe. It's like you just put every ounce of energy and everything, all your heart, everything, whether it's anger or positive energy, you know, joy, whatever. It's like you have just emotionally and physically drained yourself.
Ready? This one's new. see your mistake. Lost me on a distance, makes me sad. Not enough to turn away. I'll never turn away. Turn away.
When I was in college, I was up in Albany. There was not much alternatively going on there. And my friends and I were driving all the hell over the place, up to Syracuse, out to Boston, always coming down to New York City for CB's matinees. And we were just traveling too much. We weren't getting our schoolwork done because we were too involved with traveling around to see the shows. We decided it was hardcore, we could do it ourselves. We found a hall to rent out, found a sound man willing to work with us, and then got the bands coming through, and it became a pretty big thing. For quite a while, towards the end of my college time, it became a real regular stop for all the bands that were coming through, that were playing New York City, that were playing Boston, and needed somewhere in between, and we did all the Black Flags, Suicidal Tendencies, and all that stuff. And the important thing was, there was nobody outside involved. It was run by kids, for kids. The bands were playing for the kids, and there wasn't that barrier there that there is everywhere else. And there wasn't some big company taking our money.
Jimmy was trying to say something about trying to get paid. Harley was trying to say something about getting paid. And it's really bad. I mean, for the bands, you know, they get screwed over by lawyers and businessmen or whatever. Little labels get the same deal, only worse. You got to put upfront money, pay cash upfront for all the records you put out. You put out a single, you got to pay, you know, a couple $1,000s to a pressing plant before they even send you the records. Then, when you give them to a distributor, they say, okay, we'll pay you in 60 days. Then what happens is they sell out in 30 days, and then they say, oh, well, send us more. Well, how the fuck can I get more unless somebody gives me money to press it again? It's like, I don't have an endless wealth of cash. You know, the capital's not there for me to do anything with.
It was us doing it because we wanted to do it, because we really cared about, and we still do care about, the integrity of the music. And that's when I had finished college, I was in law school, and still wanted to keep a finger in what was happening, and that's when a friend and I started a record label called Combined Effort, and for the same reason. There were a lot of bands that wanted to do stuff that didn't want to be with the bigger record labels and make some more money for someone else, like this video is doing. But, you know, and that's a choice for bands to make, whether they want to. It seems to be very often justified by getting larger exposure, getting their message across to more people.
It's not upsetting, but when you put your heart and your soul into something and you don't get nothing back, you know, it's depressing and you don't want to do it anymore. So when people say, oh, big business is bad or making money is bad, that's bullshit. Because if I didn't have money, if I don't have money to put out records, I also don't have money to eat.
If you're really into what you're doing, what you want to do is spread your message and play your music to as many people as you can, and do it for as long as you can. Make a job out of it, a life out of it.
But
that's what we're trying to do. Take it as far as we can.
Wouldn't you rather put on the radio and listen to Agnostic Front, Sick of It All, Gorilla Biscuits, you know, wouldn't you rather listen to that than to what you listen to now?
So here it goes out to all the Bucks-skins and to my own Latin brothers, since I am from Cuba. I bear respect to all the lads out here. This is called Crucified. Live without Everybody!
Touring's, it's the best thing. You don't, like, when I first went, I just went as a roadie, and it was like such a change. You don't have to do anything you don't want to. It's so much fun. You have, like, all you have to do is show up and play.
Yeah, it was like going back in time. It was like seeing, like, CBGBs, and we were going to other states and seeing the way it was. We were seeing it there. All the kids were friendly, you know, they were all into it. There was no backstabbing going on, you know, stuff like that.
Nobody was complaining that our records were in a shopping mall, you know.
Yeah. Kids were thanking us because the record was there, because if they send away for the record, you know, 6 months later they still wouldn't get it, but now you could go down to the fucking mall and get it.
Yeah. And plus, a lot of the other places, it's not like everywhere we played was like a bed of roses. There were some places where we had a lot of trouble with people who didn't agree, who had preconceived notions.
You just get to meet a lot of kids who just like really, just from your records, they just really get in, just get into what they think you guys are about. Sometimes they get disappointed, because like they just read the lyrics and they think, here are these guys and they're, they're really righteous and they're all cool and stuff, and we're just, we're idiots just like everybody else, So it's like sometimes they just like, these guys are dicks, but it happens. You can't, make everybody happy.
What about Europe?
Europe's
like gambling kind of. You play one show and it's like
you're rolling the
a couple thousand people and it's cool and everything's great and you're like big and everything. You play another place, there's like 15 people there getting beer bottles thrown at you.
Yeah, when I went to Europe, I just like the first day I was just like, that's it, get me on a plane home. I just couldn't deal with it. I just got called like a shitty, stupid American like one too many times. Like in the first hour, I got like called a dirty American like 5 times. I was just like, shit, what did I do? But they would
brought a couple strippers on stage.
Yeah, well that did it too. But it's just different. Everybody's really political there, and like they just crack on Americans because they're like, you had an actor as a president, and then they'll leave it at that, or they just make fun of you because of Bush and stuff, and just political. No one, Walter loves Europe, but politics in general, I think Americans really aren't into it, and in Europe, that's their thing. To be punk and to be into hardcore, you're into politics, and like they were throwing questions at me, and I was just like, shit, I don't know.
Never ever thought it would get to Europe. We played Czechoslovakia and Yugoslavia, and it was intense. The kids were out of their minds because they found this new freedom, and it was such an enlightening thing compared to a lot of kids here that don't even know how spoiled they really are. I mean, here we were playing to places where kids had to pay like what would be the equivalent of $30 American for a Murphy's Law record, and $30 American or $30 there is like a month's pay for them.
The thing that's great about it is you're always moving around, so you could be any kind of person you want in these different places. We played one place where
Sammy Patton, he was pretending he was a cowboy.
I was a cowboy. No, seriously.
I put on like a little fireman.
We stayed at this one kid's house, and the kid went out for the day with some other members of the band. They went out to like some creek and went swimming. So Priscilla went into his closet and put on his boots and his leather jacket and stuff like that, and dressed up like all really punk rock. And we went down to the mall, and he walked in the record store, and he goes, "Where's the Misfits record? Where's the punk section?"
Did he do that?
He was running around.
You could,
Where's the punk rock record?
It's kind of fun because you can just lie to everybody on tour
you
too.
can say whatever you want. It's like
people are just like, tell me some New York stories, and you're just like, you don't even want to know.
You don't even know.
the horrible place.
I hit this kid with the 8-ball in the sock one day.
Yeah.
Well, if any band ever helped my band out, it was the Beastie Boys. They took us on a
Yeah.
United States tour, an arena tour. In any case, we did these arena tours, and we did really good. The kids liked us a lot. We thought we'd get booed off the stage at every show, and what actually was happening was
But you
people
guys
liked
were
it
so
because we were live.
entertaining.
But it was beyond that, because after the show, we'd get off stage and go into the crowd and hang out with the kids, and the kids bugged on that because they couldn't comprehend that here they are in an arena, and here's the band sitting next to them, hanging out with them and talking with them, and we did really good on that. I really appreciate that they did that for us.
When you go on tour and everything, you learn a lot of stuff that you would never have the opportunity to learn. Just in dealing with people, just experiences that make you grow. You know, like you don't think like sleeping in a squat, you know, will help you out ever. But it makes you, you know, realize that you can get through things and that like you're not, you know, you can survive and you can just have a good time doing anything. You know, I mean, I could have fun, you know, doing anything.
I don't give a shit, not a street, on my town, that hurts, not my fucking crap. Oh God, wow, oh God, wow. Not a gender, but what you believe, I don't care, I'm your critics, matter like you need. From your best, yes, that you don't understand. Be yourself and be the best you can. Step out. Moment. Easy way. Be something. Grab your safety. Onto yourself. Push coming down. Go for the person. Hold your breath. Oh God. Wow. Hold your
music scene is so small, the alternative music scene. I'm not talking just about hardcore, college music also. All music that's other than arena rock is a minority because there's such a small audience. And if we fight each other, it'll never get anywhere. Same thing with rap. Kids are shooting each other, the music's getting a bad rep.
You talk about freedom of speech, and that's the first thing you want to take away. I mean, censorship is really wrong. You should let a band put out what they listen to what they got to say, or however they got to say. You're taking away their freedom of speech.
The only thing they're doing is making kids hungrier to go out and buy records like that. It's only making the kids want it more. So it's only working in reverse of what they're trying to do.
If we stick together, it'll be so much stronger. If young people stick together, we'll be such a stronger force, stronger voting force. Politicians will listen to us. You know, just speak up, and people will listen.
Now, what I'm about to say, I'm not opening the floor to political discussion. I got 3 friends over in Saudi Arabia. Whether you agree with what's going on or not, it's too late. We're in it. I just hope they come home fast and they come home safe. And it goes out to Dave, to John, and to Larry. It's called the justice system. Freedom, around us open hands. Don't protect the West. Protect of those who will strive. The rules and lies that you and I truly believe must fight. Right, it's got to take the land. It's got to take the land. Hey!
far as we go, it's more of a unity thing. You come to the show to have a good time. But that's what we want to put out to these kids, that it's about having a good time, not about getting into fights.
Unity, man. What we were striving for then, and we didn't even know we had it, was unity. We used to preach all this stuff like unity amongst the scene and this and that. We didn't think we had it. When that actually we had it more than we ever probably will have it, because we were so tight. And now it's like we play shows, Murphy's Law play shows, and kids start fighting each other. I mean, on the dance floor.
There was a riot at their last gig, and
our last gig in New Jersey, that these kids just started beating the shit out of each other.
I mean, of course,
over
me or
nothing.
Jimmy don't, neither me or Jimmy minds a good riot.
I mean, the whole basis of hardcore music is an outlet of aggression and anxiety for kids that are dealing with things in life. When you get on the dance floor, you go off for this aggressive, loud, hard music, and that's a good thing, because when you leave refreshed. But the main thing is that you don't fight with each other. You just go there and you scream and you yell and you jump around, but you don't punch the shit
There's
out
so
of each
many
other.
other
That's not
people
what
in
it's
the
about.
world that are trying to fight us.
If kids would behave themselves at shows instead of bringing knives and shit to the things, you wouldn't have to have barricades or bouncers. But this is the way it is now. And these people blame us for this, which is ridiculous, because it happened years before we came into the scene.
They're blaming us for the violence that happens at shows because of our lyrics. I mean, that's just like saying Ozzy Osbourne killed those kids with his lyrics.
Well, the fact that there is no matinees because people themselves have destroyed it, because it's gotten to a limit. Like I was at the last matinee where Killing Time broke up, and there was a fight that beat up the bouncer.
Yeah, you get these kids coming in like gang style, and they start trouble. It ruins the whole thing.
Well, it used to be the best scene I've ever seen in my life. New York Hardcore was the best. But now with all the violence, I mean, you can't even have small shows. This is the only show there's been in New York in so long. And if you're a small band, you can't play the Ritz. Where's the growth going to be now for new bands? Were they going to play the Ritz every week? You can't. There's no CBGB matinees or anything like that. So it kind of fucks everything up for like the new kids to keep the scene going. If you have no place to play, and the scene won't grow.
I mean, I used to work CBGBs. Everything was kept cool. Me, Jimmy Gestapo, and Harley kept everything cool. Anybody went out of control, we make sure, we didn't beat them, we just make sure it's
there's
cool.
also the older people, like he just mentioned. Those people, their lives move on. I'm not saying that they're not into it anymore, but they go and they do other things, and they can't be there all the time for every show. So what happens is these new kids come in, and there's no one to police it, and they just take over and run rampant, and things like that get out of hand.
A lot of people looking to us as a band to bring back the old hardcore style, and which is what we hope to do. And I'm telling you right now, if we can't bring it back, we're going to get together with some of the older bands and we're going to take it back.
Basically, I hate to say it, but stop the violence. That's what's going on now.
Yeah, I
So much
hate to
violence.
say that too, but I guess I'll have to.
We have to stop the violence. We gotta stop the violence.
Let's fuck shit up. There's no justice. There's no blood. I don't know. For all of us. There's no justice. There's no love. We don't believe. Trying to jump the right to what was moving. No one's coming back. Why do you have to rap? You can shoot me out. You know, she can use so long. Losing me, lost your friend. You should laugh when you shoot your tattoos. Well, when I try to jump the right to always moving. No one's on my back. Why do you have to rap? You can shoot me out. You know, she can use so long. Losing me, lost your friend. You should laugh when you shoot your tattoos. What a regret. When you put face inside, someone else got the undead upon left. Keep you in the dark, take it what you wind up by yourself.
Okay, Grill Biscuits started, I think about late '85, and we started off just how everybody did.
I hate to be a pain in the behind, but like, could you speak up?
Oh,
I
sure.
can't get any levels. I'm sorry.
All right.
Keep busting my
All right.
balls.
I will.
Okay.
As we sit in the party lot. In our posh uptown apartment. This is just part of our apartment. So
Forget about
Disney
it.
had the shit right
Where
there.
are we supposed to be looking at? Am I supposed to be looking here, here, or
You could
there?
look.
I'm all over the place.
I know, it's like,
Wherever you want to be, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's all a bunch of bullshit. Everything is bullshit. Everybody's full of shit. Especially everybody who thinks that they're not full of shit.
God, you know I was told him I'd do this with the camera.
Oh man. Fucking Jimmy.
Wait.
No, it's just better this
Fucking
way.
professional.
Yeah, I know. It's fine.
I think we should kill everybody. And I'm very much into politics. Worst of all, I'm an Islamic, neo-Hindu, Buddhist, satanic Jesus freak.
Bands you never heard of. That's old like
Malignant too.
hardcore.
You know Malignant too, huh?
Old like punk hardcore bands, mental abuse, bands like that. Bands that just have that rawness. There's glory. The Psychos. Jesus Christ, the Psychos. It's like undeniable glory there, you know?
I don't have anything else.
Good.
Thank you.
Because we have so much other shit too, so.
Let's get after that.